Mary, what can you tell me about variables?
Variables in Python are containers for storing data values, defined with an assignment and can hold different data types, including numbers and strings.
Thanks, Mary. Let's start coding. Okay, let's start with defining variables with different data types. First, I define a variable called name, and this variable is of kind string. Basically, it means that it stores some bunch of text. So we have a variable called name, and the value of that variable is a text, and that text is Alice. So now I want to define another variable called age, and this age is 25. The value of it is 25. So this is the name of the variable. This is the assignment character used for defining variables, and after that sign, we put the value of it. If that value is kind string, meaning that it's text, we need these quotes. It can be single quotes or double quotes. And this is just a comment. So we can use the hashtag sign to start commenting on any line, meaning that everything after that hashtag is included within the comment and will not be executed. So whenever the IDE sees this hashtag sign, this hashtag character, it treats everything after that character in the same line as a part of the comment. And comments are used just to indicate something to other programmers or just to write some kind of tip or a guide for the others who read this code. And so we want to define another variable now. And now I want to define another variable called height, and it should store a decimal value. It's a float number. It has a floating point. It's 5.6. So you see that when defining a variable of kind a number or float, an integer, there's no need to put quotes or double quotes. Okay? And finally, I want to introduce you to Boolean variables. These variables store true or false values, like this one, is underlined student. This is the name of the variable, and the value of it is true. It can represent that somebody is a student. Okay? It's a Boolean variable. It stores only two things. One of these two things, false or true. And here is it storing true. So finally, using the print function, I want to display each variable's value. For displaying the value of the name, I use the print function. I open the parentheses and I put this string and then a comma and then the name of the variable. So this is one type of using the print function. And again, I use this pattern for other variables too. Note that I'm not obligated to put this string here. I can write age, but then what will be printed will not represent the truth. So this is just something that I'm using to make the output make sense. Let's see the output actually. Also, I want to write something similar for the students variable, and now I run the code. This is the output. Name is Alice, age is 25, and height is 5.6, and is a student is true. Okay, let's see the next slide. We want to talk about updating variables. First, we define a variable age with an initial value of 25. Next, we update age by adding 5 to its current value. Finally, we print the updated value of age using the print function. Now I run the code, and you see that the incremented value of age actually is printed. So how can we use variables in expressions? Here we define a variable base to store the base of a triangle. It's 10 actually. Next, we define a variable height to represent the triangle's height. And then we calculate the area using the formula half the base times the height. Finally, we print the area with a descriptive label. Another cool thing about Python is that we can assign multiple variables in one line. Let's see how. We assign values to 3 variables, x, y, and z in a single line. You see they are just separated by a comma. X is equal to 1, y to 2, and z to 3. Then we can print the value of each variable with its label. I run the code, and the result is printed. We can swap variables values in a really cool way in Python. So first I define a variable a with the value of 5 and the variable b with value of 10. And to swap the value of these variables, I just write a comma b equals b comma a. Using this swap syntax is really cool. And this is how we can exchange the values of 2 variables. Finally, I can print the new values of a and b to confirm the swap. Let's run the code now. And this is it. A was 5, but it's now 10, and b was 10, but its current value is 5. Let's talk more about the strings. We start by defining a string variable called name with the value Alice. Next, we create a greeting string by concatenating hello and the name using the plus operator. Finally, we print the greeting message. We run the code, and hello Alice is printed. Pay attention that this comma is the same comma that is printed here. Moving to the next slide. I want to talk about how we can access the characters inside a string. So you have a bunch of text and you want to access characters comprising that text. The question is how you can access specific characters in a string. So we want to write a program to print the first and last characters of a word. First, we define a string variable word with the value Python. Then we access the first character using word 0 and print it. To access the last character, we use word -1 and print it. Let's run the code. You see the first character is P, it's uppercase, and the last character is N, lowercase. Let's move on. We have a cool thing in Python called string slicing. It basically means that we slice a string and we get a part of it. We define a string variable word with the value programming. To extract the first 4 characters, we use the slicing syntax word, square brackets, colon, 4. It means until the index 4. And pay attention, In computer science, we always start from 0. So when I say 4 until 4 means actually until 5 in the human language. I mean, we get the characters until the 5th one. To extract the last 5 characters, we use word, open square brackets, -5, colon, and close brackets. Finally, we print both slices. You see that the first 4 characters are prog, and the last 5 characters are ming. Pay attention that P is at index 0, R is at index 1, O is at index 2, and G is at index 3. So we get the characters until we reach the 4th one, and we don't get it. We don't get the 4th one. This is really important. Now I want to talk about making a string lowercase or uppercase. I mean, the whole characters of it should be converted to lowercase or uppercase in some cases. And I want to talk about how we can deal with this thing, with this situation. First, we define a string variable text with the value Python is awesome. Then, using the .upper method, we convert the string to uppercase. And using the .lower method, we convert the string to lowercase. Finally, we print both the uppercase and lowercase versions. You see, the uppercase is Python is awesome with whole characters written in uppercase, and the lowercase is the reverse of it. Let's move on to the next slide. Sometimes we want to check the content of a string. For example, I want to know if a specific word is included within a sentence. That sentence is a string variable, and that word is another string variable. Okay, so how do we do this? First, we define a string variable sentence with the value the quick brown fox. Then, using the starts with method, we check if the string starts with D and print the result. Using ends with method, we check if the string ends with fox and print the result. Using the in operator, we check if quick is in the sentence and print the result. I want to talk about this code before running it. So inside this print function, I'm saying that you should first do this, and note that we can include single quotes within the double quotes. So this is the whole string here, and this single quote is actually a part of it. And then I put the comma, and something, it actually returns true or false. But that value gets converted to string within Python. This is one of the coolest things in Python, actually. Let's see the result now. Starts with D is true, ends with fox is true, and contains quick is again true. Let's move on. I want to talk about formatting strings. First, I define a string variable name and an integer variable age. Using an if string, I embed name and age inside a formatted string. And finally, I print the formatted string. Let's see the results. You see that name is placed here and age is placed here. This is called formatting strings. Let's move on. I want to talk about repeating strings now. I define a string variable text with the value high. Using the multiplication operator, I repeat the string 3 times. And finally I print it. Let's see the result. It's printed 3 times. Let's move on. How can we find the position of a substring in a string? We want to write a program to find the position of the word fox in a sentence. First, I define a string variable sentence with the value the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Using the find method, we find the position of the word fox. Finally, we print the position. Let's run the code. You see that the position of fox is 16. It means that this f is at index 16.